Hello dear second year students, this is Mohammed, and in this video I'm going to present to you with a short story written by Shirley Jackson, an American writer. The plan for this video lesson is to cover the short biography of the writer and then move ahead to the summary of the story, and we're gonna discuss the analysis and other elements of the short story in the class when we meet again next week. So let's get going with a short biography of the author. Her name is Shirley Jackson, and her full name is Shirley Hardy Jackson. She was born in December 14th, 1916 in San Francisco, California, the United States, and she died in August 8th, 1965 in North Bennington, Vermont in the United States. She was an American novelist, short story writer, and she was best known for her story, The Lottery, written in 1948. The story we're going to cover is actually The Lottery by Shirley Jackson today. Alright, so the story opens in a village. The villagers of a small town gathered together in a square on June 27th, exact date. It's a beautiful day, and there's an event taking place called the lottery, the town lottery. In other towns nearby, the lottery takes longer, but in this village there are only 300 people, so the lottery takes only 2 hours. The children in the village who have just finished school for the summer, they run around collecting stones. They collect stones, we don't know what for. They put the stones in their pockets and make a pile in the square. So they collect the stones in the square by making piles. Men gather next. They're followed by the women, and parents call their children over, and families stand together for the lottery to begin. Mr. Summers runs the lottery because he has a lot of time to do things for the village. So there's one person, one man, who is responsible for running the lottery. He arrives in the square with a black box, followed by Mr. Graves, the postmaster. This black box isn't the original box used for the lottery, because the original was lost many years ago, even before the town elder, the oldest man in the town, called Old Man Warner, was born. Mr. Summers always suggests that they make a new box. Because the current one is shabby, but no one wants to fool around with it with tradition. Mr. Summers did, however, convince the villagers to replace the traditional wood chips with slips of paper. Alright, so here we get some details about the lottery itself. It's a tradition, and there's a black box. There's a man who administers, who runs the lottery. His name is Mr. Summers, and that black box isn't the original one, because the original one was lost many years ago. The villagers do not want a new black box. They want to go on with the tradition. Mr. Summers mixes up the slips of paper in the box. So there are some slips, some pieces of paper in the box, and each family would get to choose one later on. He and Mr. Graves made the papers the night before, then locked up the box at Mr. Summers' coal company. Before the lottery can begin, they make a list of all the families and households in the village, because they want to make sure that everyone is there to get a chance at the lottery. Mr. Summers is sworn in, means he's sworn officially to be honest and to be fair. Some people remember that in the past there used to be a song and salute, but these have been lost. So the tradition is not the same as it used to be in the past. Tessie Hutchinson joins the crowd. She is a woman, flustered because she had forgotten that day was the day of the lottery. She joins in late because she had forgotten. She joins her husband and children at the front of the crowd, and people joke about her late arrival. Mr. Summers asks whether anyone is absent, and the crowd responds that Dunbar isn't there. Mr. Summers asks who will draw for Dunbar. Dunbar, actually, we'll get in the full story that Dunbar has broken his leg, but still someone needs to draw. To draw means to take out a slip of paper from the box for Dunbar instead of Dunbar, who is not there. And Mrs. Dunbar says she will because she doesn't have a son who is old enough to do it for her. Mr. Summers asks whether the Watson boy will draw, and he answers that he will. Mr. Summers then asks to make sure that old man Warner is there too. There's a Watson, which is important for later on for analysis. Watson boy means Watson, the father, is not there. There's a reason for that. Mr. Summers reminds everyone about the lottery rules. So here are the rules of the lottery. He will read names, and then the family heads come up and draw a slip of paper. No one should look at the paper until everyone has drawn. So until the end, everyone has drawn a paper, and then they will open the papers to see what's written on that slip of paper. Mr. Summers finishes calling names, and everyone opens his or her papers. The word quickly gets around that Bill Hutchinson has got it. He has the one. He has the whatever, the thing expected on the paper. Tessie argues that it wasn't fair because Bill didn't have enough time to select the paper. Mr. Summers asks whether there are any other households in the Hutchinson family, and Bill says no, because his married daughters draw with her husband. Sorry, his married daughter draws with her husband's family. Mr. Summers asks how many kids Bill has, and he answers that he has 3. Tessie protests again, and the lottery wasn't fair. When they open their slips, they find that Tessie has drawn the paper with the black dot on it. So she has got it. Well, here's the idea. Everyone in the village draws a paper, and whoever has the paper with the black dot, he has got it. Now what happens is, then Mr. Summers instructs everyone. They ask everyone to hurry up because they need to go back to work. The villagers grab stones. You remember the stones? We said the children gathered in a square. Now they run towards Tessie, who stands in a clearing in the middle of the crowd. Tessie says it's not fair, and then she is hit in the head with a stone. Then everyone begins throwing stones at her until she dies. Here's the story. All right, not very lucky to draw the one with the dot, then it appears, and very surprising end. In fact, we didn't know what was going on in the beginning until the very end, where the person who has got the paper with the black dot then gets to die with stoning. So everyone will throw stones at her until she dies. That's a ritual. That's a tradition, and we will have analysis. We're going to analyze that in the class we meet again. That was the summary of the story. Actually, I believe this is the end, and next week we'll meet again in the class. We're going to discuss that further with your questions and answers, and of course discussion ideas in the classroom. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and we'll see you again next week in the class. Until then, it's goodbye from me.